Good evening. I'm Dana Tyler. We start tonight with the mistrial in the Eitan Patz murder case. Eitan, the Soho boy who disappeared in 1979. After 18 days of deliberating and 3 deadlocks, the jury is hung, the judge declaring a mistrial late this afternoon. It is not the outcome the Patz family was hoping for. Eitan's father stands saying today he is frustrated and disappointed. CBS 2's Jessica Schneider has been following the case since the trial began in late January. She's live at State Supreme Court with more. Jessica.
Well, Dana, this mistrial has elicited a wide range of emotions. As you mentioned, Stanley Patz spoke. He was unequivocal in his disappointment of this jury, also his belief that Pedro Hernandez is guilty and his desire for a retrial in this case. Meanwhile, the jurors claim that they didn't fight throughout this process, but tonight their tempers flared.
Pedro Hernandez, you know what you did.
Anger from the 4 women of the jury after 18 days of deliberations. The trial ended with one holdout juror who said despite the pressure, he could not vote to convict.
For me, his confession was very bizarre. No matter how many times it happened, it got more and more bizarre. And I feel that the initial confession, there were lots of issues surrounding custody, surrounding Miranda rights.
Jurors spent more than 100 hours discussing this case and re-listening to evidence. They said there was no fighting or screaming, but it was an intense process.
To me, the evidence all pointed one way, and so I can only attribute his decision to hold out ego.
Finally, the confessions over time is what sort of swayed me to finally go guilty.
Every one of us had something to say.
Stanley Patz, Eitan's father, spoke for the first time since this trial began in January.
Eitan was a beautiful, outgoing, friendly, curious little kid. He would have made a great adult, but that's what got him killed, because he was willing to go with his downstairs.
For 10 weeks, the prosecution presented witnesses and evidence against Pedro Hernandez, saying he strangled and killed 6-year-old Eitan Patz. But this one juror was not convinced. With the jury deadlocked and dismissed, prosecutors have indicated they will retry this case, but a more definitive decision will come in June. District Attorney Cy Vance issued this statement: "We believe there is clear and corroborated evidence of the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The challenges in this case were exacerbated by the passage of time, but they should not and did not deter us." Pedro Hernandez will remain locked up while this retrial process moves forward. But defense attorney Harvey Fishbein says Hernandez is innocent and they've had the wrong man from day one.
I'm sure the city of New York is interested in a resolution of this case. I would say that there's only a resolution if the correct man is held responsible, and we firmly believe that Pedro Hernandez is not the right man.
And Pedro Hernandez actually turned to his lawyer, Harvey Fishbein, tonight and said, "Does this mean I don't have to come back to court on Monday?" He won't be back in court next week. Instead, he'll remain locked up in jail until a potential retrial is scheduled and 12 additional more jurors are selected. Live in Lower Manhattan, Jessica Schneider, CBS 2 News.
And we thank you, Jessica, for your reporting on the case and your expertise. Jessica is also an attorney, so she gives that extra perspective. Thank you, Jess.